Hey trainers, welcome back! You're with Pewter City Gym, and we're going to be looking at a couple of Fakemon designs today. Back at the start of the year, the John Machine announced a contest for people to potentially have their Pokemon featured in his Virgin Islands inspired region, Tropore. If you're unfamiliar with his work, I've put a link in the description for you so you can check it out. The rules were pretty simple. Design a Fakemon that fit the region, give it a name, dex entry, all that fun stuff. I went through a bunch of concepts before settling on my final submission, so I'm pretty proud of what I came up with. I hope you'll like it. Also, this script is being written well in advance of any winners being announced, so I have no clue if I win or not. But I had fun making them either way, and that's the main thing, right? Hey, speaking of having fun with designs, I hope you'll consider dropping me a like and maybe consider subscribing. 2023 is off to a pretty good start already in regards to designing Fakemon, and I'd love to show you the rest of what I have in store. I also do a lot of Let's Play stuff and some other Pokemon related shenanigans, so if that sounds like your jam, please, you are welcome here. Anyway, like I said, I had a bunch of concepts for something to add to the Tropore decks. The Virgin Islands has so much amazing wildlife and an incredible history. There's honestly no shortage of things to redesign as a Pokemon. The one I was stuck on the longest was the frigate bird. Look at this thing. How is it not already a Pokemon? But alas, my bird drawing skills are not so great. I also thought of creating something out of these conch shell piles that you can find in the islands. The shellfish are removed from the shells, and the shells themselves are cast aside into these big piles, which can honestly get so big they're basically island. But I didn't want to tread on the toes of the shell form of Tropore's Dwebble variant. What did I settle on in the end? Tortoises. And I almost didn't, just because the Tropore region's water starter is a sea turtle. But the Virgin Islands is home to this little fellow, the red-footed tortoise. Look at it! Turtles and tortoises are some of my favorite animals, so I wound up picking it as the starting point for my design. But where to go from there? Come on over to the lab and we'll find out. I don't want to have to clean the entire lab again like I did when I was borrowing Boreal Mind's look. Maybe I can try something a little less permanent this time. What? No, Smurfles, no, I'm not gonna need you this time. Sorry, guys. Oh, I know. Maybe if I just use a projector. Hey, Rotom! There we go. Looks a little more in line with the vibe of a Pokepaint video, right? Anyway, the Virgin Islands. In our world, they're divided into two groups, the US Virgin Islands and the UK Virgin Islands, which is an interesting thing to think about. We have two analogs for the UK and the US in Pokemon as well. Galar is based on the UK, and Unova and Alola are both based on American places, New York and Hawaii respectively. Upon thinking about this idea, I thought it would be fun to have something Galar based and something more Unova or Alola inspired. Tea and coffee. You saw that coming a mile off, right? I know it's a little stereotypical, I guess you could call it, and there's no hard and fast rules saying folks from the UK can only drink tea and folks from the US can only drink coffee. These are just broad associations. Plus, the Virgin Islands produce both tea and coffee, so it's perfect. So, tea, coffee, and tortoises. Sounds fun, right? Immediately, I wanted to create a dual appearance species like Shellos and Gastrodon or Red and Blue Basculin. No differences in ability, moves, stats, anything like that, just in appearance and animations if these guys were in 3D. I also wanted to, thematically, mess with the colors a bit. I picked colors from official Pokemon art as I often do, but every color for our coffee-flavored Terrapin comes from Unovan Pokemon, and every color for our Cup of Cha tortoise comes from Galar. In terms of basic design, well, I wanted one to be a teapot and one to be a coffee carafe. Is it goofy? Yes. Oh gosh, yes. But Pokemon is indeed goofy sometimes. And I tried to make the shells look at least somewhat natural. I call them bean and leaf forms. Bean form has some coffee bean looking adornments on top of the shell, on its head and on its knees. The leaf version has leaves. And some small flowers that look like those from the actual tea plant. The only color the two share is the red of their feet, which I took directly from a photograph of the tortoise itself. I added some watery shapes to each one, and that water would be where their water type attacks would come from. Water gun, water pulse, scald. I added Bean's water last, and I forgot to record that part, so it shows up as a little surprise later. I wanted their poses to reflect different attitudes. Bean looks like it's ready to charge, Leaf looks ready to lie down and nap, but again, these are just cosmetic differences. And here we have Brutal, the Kappa Pokemon, Bean and Leaf forms. Brutal come in two varieties, each one being specific to different islands in the Tropore region. The botanicals they produce have been used by people in Tropore for centuries to brew hot drinks, and the variety of Brutal you find island to island will usually depend on the beverage choice of the island's human inhabitants. Bean form is more aggressive and active, whereas Leaf form is more mellow and relaxed. I went with a custom ability. Hopefully that's allowed. I didn't see any rules against it, so here we go. It's called Steep, and it raises special attack by 2 stages when hit by a fire type. The idea being that tea and coffee are plant matter put into water then heated. So grass water-type Pokemon, heat it up with fire and boom, you got yourself a nice hot beverage. Steep, by the way, is the term for soaking tea or coffee grounds in hot water to release the flavor. The longer the plant matter is in contact with the hot water, the stronger the flavor of your drink. The name Brutal was just too good to pass up, honestly. Brew plus turtle, plus it sounds like brutal. Could these Pokemon be crazy strong battlers if you aggravate them? Could they completely wreck your afternoon snack? Possibly. Also, when naming it, I kinda forgot that Choodle is a thing, but I think it's fine. Other Pokemon names rhyme, or we wouldn't have the Poké-Rap.
We gotta rap some Pokemon!
Well, there we have it, guys. My entries to the John Machine's Tropore contest. I hope you like them. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye!